Combustion.
Whoa, 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 whoa. They're running the game with my team making plays. Talking 80, my G's, wanting jewels in this place. Surrounded by dogs, keep the quarterback safe. I'm the one with the plans, they gon' do what I say. The game is not over, we don't celebrate. In the end zone, we don't got no time in the wait. Ain't trying run down, we don't premeditate. We just go and get to it, we got them on skates. If the game going to overtime, kicking the overdrive, we gon' be first at the finish line. Play looking full, but I finish mine. Can I get second? We gon' line up like it's dinner time. We put in work till we get us a ring. Super Bowl season, we running the scene. Ain't tryna home of the realest that breathe. Keep your face down when you talk to the king.
Yo, what up, everybody? This is your boy AD, and this is the H-Town Rundown. I'm joined here with my co-host, Clayton in the building, and we got Jules via mobile. Unfortunately, he's showing his age, and showing his, his situation. So shout out to Uncle Jules, joining via mobile. So hopefully everybody can hear Uncle Jules.
You know what? My pleasure, AD.
Yeah. But yeah, man, look, we're back. We had been on a little sabbatical. But the Houston Texans have been on a sabbatical themselves. There has been not really much of anything going on with the Houston Texans, but we're here to talk about the few things that have been going on recently. With CJ Stroud, Will Anderson, getting their fifth-year options picked up, and the potential of one of, or if not both of them, getting extended, at the end of this offseason, going into the season next year. And then we got the draft a couple weeks away. I think, if I'm not mistaken, 12 days away. From the NFL draft. So
is it 23rd? Yeah, 23rd. Yeah.
Yep. So we're 12 days away from the NFL draft. Shout out Frank. What up? But yeah, we definitely are here to talk about pick 28, which may not be pick 28. It may be further down, but there's quite a bit to talk about. So what are y'all thoughts? And we'll start off with the news of the news, the only news of the news, which is CJ Stroud and Will Anderson both getting their fifth-year options picked up. Just for chaos purposes, I was just hoping they were going to just wait till like the very last day for CJ Stroud, just for people to say whatever. So, Clayton, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on CJ Stroud and Will Anderson getting their fifth-year options picked up?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna need you to go touch grass, bro. I need you to socialize, bro. Nah, man. So look, I mean, it was kind of a formality, right? Like, we already kind of knew that was gonna happen. You did have some people like AD who was like, nah, well, AD didn't say this, but some people were saying they should trade him now, or get what you can, or why even pick up the fifth-year option. Now, I feel like you did say at least that, like, it was something of that type, but Will was much more of a guarantee. That's like, okay. If that scenario were to happen, and if CJ had not gotten his fifth year picked up until, let's say, like May 1st, the day of, then yeah, that's a 5 alarm. Like, that's not even exaggeration, hyperbolic. That's like, nah, that's a very intentional message saying, like, we don't even have that level of confidence to give you a fifth-year option on time with Will Anderson, right? So the fact that both of them got it picked up at the same time, it's a good sign for both to a certain degree. According to all reports, Aaron Wilson, like Will Anderson, he's going to get that mega deal. And that's go ahead and write that down. They're confident in CJ. I see they said the needle is trending up on him, they believe. But yeah, next offseason is going to be when they target an extension. And there you go.
Jules via mobile.
I mean, it's just part of the process. I mean, you're not going to let your starting cornerback who's taken to the playoff 3 years in a row, who struggled mildly in one playoff run, just because you got feelings and you don't have a backup plan. Davis Mills, as good as everybody think he is, he's not the one that we've seen that before. So it was just doing it systematically. They give him another year. They give him it's pretty much a 2-year trial. If he don't work out 2 years trial, he's not coached up. He's not performing better. He can't adjust to the system, where the system is pretty much made for him. then you get rid of them and you go a different way. But it's part of the process. No quarterback in the last 20 years who was drafted as high as he was in the first round was not able not to see his fifth year option go and not see his fifth year go. This never happened before.
Yeah. Look,
so everybody whose feelings hurt and mad about the playoff run is being nearsighted and not focusing on the bigger picture situation.
And what's the bigger picture, Jules?
Bigger picture is he's the only quarterback in franchise history took you to the playoffs for 3 years in a row. The first 2 years in the playoffs were he led the team, and the third year he let the team down. But everybody keeps saying this defense. This defense wasn't this defense until this year, last year. The first 2 years of the CJ, Will Anderson, D'Amico Ryans, CJ was the linchpin of the offense of the team. If you go look it up. Look up the records of the defense last year, the 2 years ago when they lost.
2 years ago. It's 2 years ago.
I just did a write up on that. So,
so last year, that was the only time the defense was considered the number one defense in the league. It wasn't considered number one defense in the league the last 2 years. They were good, but not on the same level. And people are just getting sensitive and say, "Oh, this team has not been historically. That defense has been historically good for 3 years."
Go ahead, Clay.
Well, the thing is, just to add some context to Jules' point, I just did a write up on this. Actually today, because Acho, he talked about the Texans Super Bowl chances. He thought they'd be a perennial Super Bowl contender, cited the defense. Over the last 3 years, in 2022, the year before D'Amico got here, they were ranked 30th, right? So they were awful, like trash. 2023, they flipped and went up to 14th. 2024 went up to top 5, and then of course this year number 1. Whereas with CJ, the inversion of that is CJ started off up here, and the perception is he gradually tapered off the last couple of years. So it's like they've done like this, So it's like people want the two to progress together as opposed to one becomes a strength long term and the other one becomes a liability, right? So that's where it's like CJ just really has to restabilize enough. He doesn't even have to be like, he ain't got to be the equivalent at quarterback of our defense at number 1. He just has to rebound, play the football that we know that he can play, not press, and just trust his teammates, which that's on Caserio D'Amico to provide, but it's on Stroud just not to mess it up once he gets the opportunity. So, but that's kind of what it is. Like, they've done this. CJ has gone down this way, and the defense has gone that way. So,
yeah.
And think about what it says, the defense started at a level, and D'Amico has been coaching and getting better players. As for the offense hasn't got a lot of great players in the last 3 years since CJ got here.
That and injuries too.
Yeah, I mean, injuries has played a factor in all of these things, but just going to the main point of it all, like at the end of the day, Will Anderson is going to get his contract. I said this a year ago around this time, that 110 tax is going to hit, and when it hit, it's going to hit. Will is potentially going to get 50. There's a chance. There's a chance that he could get 50.
I think 47.5. I think go 47.5, but you give him the most guaranteed money ever. He's going to be the highest paid non-quarterback ever. I think that's going to happen. But I think maybe 47.5, 48 the highest. You just give him the guarantees of like 140. You do something like that, because that would beat Micah across the board if they did it like that.
Well, that's the Nick Caserio. He gives you a lot of guaranteed money up front to have flexibility year 3, year 4 of your contract.
Yeah. And I'm trying to find it now. So what you saying 47.5, get him $1 million over Micah. I'm just being real with you. He wasn't Will Anderson first team All-Pro?
Sure was. And really, had it not been for Myles Garrett, should have been Defensive Player of the Year had Myles Garrett not had the season he had.
Yeah, I'm just being honest with you. With the salary cap going up, you can reset you can reset it. And my thing is you pinching pennies at that point because you're just talking about $2.5 million difference from 50 to 47.5.
You sound
And
like
what
an
other
agent.
defensive players are up?
You sound like an
50
agent.
mil will
Just $2
does
more,
sound look,
man.
50 mil will.
Just
50 mil. Look, shout out Brandon. Brandon said 50 mil will sounds a hell of a lot better than 47.5 mil will.
man, the Texans are already getting a reputation for ticking people off with their contracts because you remember what they did with Higgins. They made him, I think, the first second round pick to get a fully guaranteed contract ever, I think. So look, I agree. They're not afraid to basically say, like, we're gonna revolutionize the contract game. Yeah, okay, yeah. I think, yeah. You talking me into it. Yeah. 5-0. 5-0 coming.
What you say? Yeah. Nick always does, kind of bucks the system. But I will say this when it comes to CJ Stroud, I think everybody is really overthinking it and everybody's trying to make it fit in one of those, square peg in a round hole to make it fit the narrative that they want to fit on either side of the ball or either side of the argument. One, CJ Stroud not taking this extension early could benefit him either way. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, if CJ Stroud has a similar season or doesn't light it up, but he plays well, he plays pretty good or well, he's still going to get the same kind of contract if he signed it now or later. The only way his value decreases is if CJ Stroud just turns into an absolute pumpkin. And if that happens, then the Texans did the smartest thing. And yeah, but again, let's be honest. Lamar Jackson is going to get extended this offseason. He's going to get over 70. CJ, what do you mean you don't know?
Well, look, he might. Look, Mel Kiper sounded pretty adamant that if he
don't listen to Mel Kiper about anything contract wise. He knows absolutely nothing. Mel Kiper barely knows anything about the draft.
Listen, this man definitively said if Lamar doesn't do anything this season, they will draft a quarterback in round 1.
Hold on. Jules want to know what Mel Kiper said.
Right. Short version, Mel Kiper, I forget what show he appeared on, but basically he said if Lamar Jackson does not get it done this season, the Baltimore Ravens will, not can, not should. He said they will draft a quarterback in round number 1 in the 2027 draft. I'm not saying I think it's going to happen. I'm just saying he stamped it, put his name on it, said, yep, it's going to happen. So
look, I can see that. So the reason why I don't think that's true is because the Ravens had the option this is the Ravens kind of choosing gear, and they chose Lamar Jackson over Harbaugh. So, Lamar is going to get 70. If the Ravens don't pay Lamar 70, I guarantee you somebody like the Jets, somebody that's quarterback needy will pay him $70 million.
Because Dak is making like what? I just saw the number too. 60. So you got Lamar clearing him by 10 mil?
Yes.
Oh wow.
But Lamar, I'm not putting in the same situation. Lamar and the Ravens are the same situation as CJ and the Texans are. You perform badly in the playoffs. We got your new coordinator. We got your new head coach. You won the power circle. I don't see why I wouldn't extend him this year. I'll wait till next year. If it doesn't go and he doesn't get any better or he can't take the team further because he has great teams, you trade him and let him go.
Yeah. So again, when it comes back to the CJ Stroud of it all, like you got to think about it here. You don't want to fall into the trap of the Tua Tagovailoa where you pay CJ Stroud and he doesn't fit the bill, and now you're going to trade CJ Stroud or release him, and you're going to pay him $53 million not to play for your team. which is what the Miami Dolphins are doing with Tua Tagovailoa. So you don't want to get into that situation at all. So you have to be very, very smart and diligent. And honestly, you got to play the long game because at the end of the day, you have the Texans technically have CJ Stroud here for 4 more years.
Yep, 2 tags.
So I mean, like they're not in an excruciating rush to get CJ Stroud paid. And right now, that's why I brought up the trade, the Nico Collins trade, and all that type of stuff. Like all of these things are gonna, happen. Like Daniil Hunter's making $45 million. When like that $45 million comes off the books, in hindsight, I think CJ Stroud is making 20 something, right? Or he'll on his 5th year, he'll make 25. So let's just say if it is 70. Okay, well, you're already paying Daniil 45. When the Daniil contract comes off the books, that means that'll be CJ Stroud's first year of his extension. So just add the 25 million that he's making on his 5th year to the 45. That's $70 million. Even if you had to pay CJ $70 million, and the way you operate around the cap doesn't change. So paying CJ Stroud is not as detrimental as people are saying. It's smart for both sides to play the long game, because if CJ Stroud goes out there and balls out, he gets what he deserves. If he goes out there and turns out as a pumpkin, the Texans win, and they can just have him on a 5th year and draft a quarterback.
Correct.
And go from there. So I mean, it's a win-win both ways. You don't, because at the end of the day, I highly doubt David Mulligetta is in the business of getting a number 2 overall quarterback to take less than being the highest paid quarterback at the moment. Like, again, Bryce Young, and if I was the Texans, I would wait for Bryce Young to get his contract before I do anything with CJ Stroud. So if Bryce Young goes out there and he gets a contract extension, then I'll follow up behind Bryce Young, and then that'll be the barometer for that, especially if Bryce Young takes the Panthers back to the playoffs again. So if they go to the playoffs back-to-back years, you can say, yeah, CJ Stroud, took us an extra year, or all 4 years he was here, we went to the playoffs with CJ Stroud. That's good. Also, you can say we can pay him a little bit more, but the barometer was set, with Bryce Young. So, I'm just like, I don't see the necessity of rushing.
I just think right now it's a hot topic for a lot of people. Media's talking about it because it's a dead season.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally not. This is probably one of the boringest draft seasons I've ever seen. So people are dreaming up conversations, and CJ's performance in the playoffs is still resonating in people's head, and it gets everybody talking and gets everybody what's the what. It's just conversation right now. Miko Casario, the McNairs, and CJ's agent, they all understand the game. Everybody see the big picture. If CJ does good, we pay him. If he does look bad, got another year, we're going to figure it out, we'll move.
So right now, just a new option on, we got a poll going up. Y'all go ahead and put your vote in. Should CJ Stroud be extended this offseason?
I'll say no. I said, as a CJ fan and defender, I'd say no.
Yeah. So the options I have are yes, maybe, no, and hell no. I'll vote hell no.
I say just say no.
Just say no.
Say no.
But definitely, that's something that we'll talk about a little bit more. That's cool. Put it down there. All right. Going forward, the off season is here again, because the CJ Stroud and Will Anderson talk, that's gonna happen. But what the debate around the league now, not around the league, but around the Texan and Texan fans, is what do the Texans do in the draft now? The Texans have made a myriad of moves. in free agency, they've kind of done what they've always done, which is any glaring holes, they go and make moves to shore those up. So there is no glaring holes in the draft. So I think today is another day of the Texans. What do the Texans do in the draft? So I'll start with you, Clayton. I know what you prefer, but
Oh, Jesus Christ, we know what it's coming.
I didn't even say nothing. Dang, bro. I could have grown since then. I could have changed, bro.
yeah, you
Oh,
ain't changed.
I could have,
And a damn thing changed. But what do you think, the holes, the glaring holes? Because right now, I honestly don't think the Texans have a hole on this roster right now. It's currently constructed with the moves they made in the offseason.
Oh man, Jules and I've been talking about this like ad nauseum, bro, to the point where it's like we sick of talking about it. Like we sick of the mocks, we sick of all the stuff. We just want the draft to be here. I agree with you. I think Casario has done a good job of filling in the holes with enough dirt to where you can squint your eyes and see them going in myriad of ways. The only moves that you don't make at this point are, at 28 are safety, kicker, punter, quarterback, something like that. Outside of that, for me, and the question is, what do I think is going to happen? Right? That's or most realistic for them right now.
Mm-hmm.
Man, if I had to put my money on it, like a Chick-fil-A gift card, I wouldn't say a guard. I think I'm gonna stay at defensive tackle. I think I'm gonna say a D tackle. I know they said about Logan Hall moving inside. I know, but no, I don't think that should move. I think Peter Woods if he falls. I think Peter Woods if he falls, and I think was it Caleb Banks? Is he? Yeah, D tackle. Yeah, Caleb Banks. So one of
What do you
them
mean
two.
fall? What do you mean them falling in the third round or something like that?
Who? No. I mean, because a lot of mocks project the Woods of the world and Caleb Banks is to be taken earlier. So I
Earlier
think
where?
anyone in the first. No, am I late? Bro? No.
No,
No.
the conversation that is since he hurt himself in the draft process, does he go to the third round, or would a team like the Texans, who would cover his spot, say, "Hey, I'll take advantage of him, take him now"? That's the conversation out there.
Okay, and that's on Woods.
Yeah, no, that's on Banks.
Banks
With Woods,
okay.
Woods. I don't think Woods was ever a first round pick.
What? Oh wow. Okay. Well,
No,
I misread that one.
And just your opinion or what you see in draft boards?
Like on a majority of most draft boards, the D tackles that get taken, and most of them that are taken, it's only like one, and they're taken at the bottom of the first round. It's always been Lee Hunter.
Right.
I have not seen you can always find one or two mock drafts that'll have a Peter Woods in the first round, but majority of these mock drafts do not have Peter Woods in the first round.
Well, give me McDonald or give me Hunter then.
85% in the first round, the top 15 pick.
Peter Woods from Clemson?
Yes, Peter Woods from Clemson. No. Only time we don't see him because he doesn't make it to 28. And that's why we see McDonald's, the blanks, the Lee Hunters, because we're seeing where we're picking. The most mass mock drafts I've seen, Woods is going 15, 10 to 19. If I'm wrong,
Clayton, you said correct him if you're wrong. Go ahead and correct him.
Well, look, I know early on in the process, Woods was a prospect that people looked at and said, well, there's no way he falls, and he'd be a dream for Houston if he fell. So I was just going off of what, the sentiment had been before. If those things have changed, and like I said, give me McDonald, give me Lee Hunter, one of those two at 28. Honestly, I think at this point, we might see aggressive Trader Nick pop out one more time and, trade up. And then if that's the case, then that would change my answer.
I'm looking at the latest NFL mock draft on NFL.com,
Yep.
And Peter Woods is nowhere to be found on the first round.
Interesting.
Now, if you go to the second round,
So he
then
fell
Peter
all the way out
Peter
there.
Woods is the first player taken in the second round. But he's not.
Who are you looking under? Who name are you drafted under? Because there's 16 people drafting on NFLnetwork.com.
Yeah, I just clicked on the NFL Network. I just clicked on NFL Network my draft.
But you also gotta find whose writer you writing under, because there's 16 different writers making mock drafts.
I just clicked on the first one. The one that was just
but you
the
can't
first
say
one.
you can't make the thing said, oh, there's no one, or it's there's a lot of mock drafts that has Peter Woods a top 15 pick.
So let's go.
Now you're gonna try to put me wrong.
No, I'm going. Let's go to Clayton's guy, Mel Kiper. Mel Kiper latest mock draft.
Big Mel.
And I'm looking
Big
right
Kiper.
now. There is no Peter Woods in the first round.
Where's he going, Mel Kiper?
Second round.
That's definitely late shift. I haven't looked at mock drafts in the last week and a half. But when this things first started, Peter Woods was a top 15 pick.
Yeah.
I don't see no top 15. That's crazy.
That was it must have shifted, because I remember Peter Woods was that guy. But I know consistently though, the Lee Hunters, I know, the McDonald's, the Banks, guys like that. But again, if Nick Caserio trades up into like the mid, the earlier 20s or even late teens, then that changes my answer. I don't know.
PFF doesn't have Peter Woods in the first round either.
I'll say this: if Caserio felt like he can get P Woods in the top of the second, then absolutely, I think he's going like BPA of BPA. I don't know who that is, but if he can get that D tackle like a P Woods, with that much value in the second, then yeah, I think all bets are off at that point. I have no idea.
I'm just not. Again, I'm not sold on Peter Woods, man. Like Peter Woods is all right, but like again, he's an undersized defensive tackle. So I mean, you get what you get out of it, but yeah, I'm not going crazy over Peter Woods. But if y'all want to, plant y'all flag on Peter Woods, then y'all go ahead and plant y'all flag on Peter Woods.
I don't think nobody's saying that. I think the question was when he said Peter Woods, it's falling because what we have seen over the last 3 or 4 weeks, up until the best recent thing, that Peter Woods was the top D tackle, and since we're picking so late in the draft, we're not even looking at Peter Woods. And if he falls because of that reason, that's what he's saying go pick Peter Woods. Because he was considered number one D tackle coming out the draft.
So, AD, let me ask you this. So if Woods, let's say in some kind of mythical world, if he falls down to 59, I believe, if he's there at bottom of the second, you taking him?
I mean, fine. At that point, it is what it is. Honestly, like it's not even to discuss. Like I just don't see him being that great of an impact of a player for the Texans specifically. Or what he does or what he can do. I just don't see him being again that great of a prospect. He's undersized, he's under 300, he's only 6'2". Like he's a smaller defensive tackle that you're gonna ask him to play a 3 tech. And what is he, as far as in the run game? Like what is he, what is he really doing as a again, his stats last year, he only had 30 tackles. Like that's and that's basically 2 tackles a game or 2.5 tackles a game. Like, what are you doing? He only has 3 tackles for loss.
Right.
He's not a sack merchant. Like he's not one of those guys. Like even the year before, he played. He only had 28 tackles. So he's not a guy that's going to get you. Like this is my thing. When I look at a defensive tackle, and you just looking at stat wise, you can look at the film and everything and the impact and everything like that. But when you're looking at the stats of him, I'm not asking a D tackle to have like 60, 70, or 100 tackles. But if you're in the 20s and the 30s, like you're not even making an impact in the run game. Like at the very least, if you were an impact in the run game, you're getting 4 tackles a game just because you're making an impact in making tackles in the run game as a defensive tackle.
Can I interest you? Can I interest you in a short blurb by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on P. Woods?
Go ahead.
It'll be brief. All right, so they got him right at a little bit right up. Peter Woods moved up and down the line of scrimmage at Clemson, receiving all ACC honors in each of his last 2 campaigns. To your point, Woods did not have the expected production in 2025, 3.5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 2 pass defended, but has explosive twitch for his size. He's effective on stunts and twists, cites lateral quickness, pose a threat to various gaps. So there's that. Woods disrupts the opponent's screen game, mostly making plays outside of the tackle box. So to your point, not really like point of attack kind of guy, but anything in that close proximity, explosive hands, violent hands, grip moves, all the stuff. 40 yardage and goal line.
Shit.
That's an inside joke. Go ahead.
When you said that word, that phrase, violent hands, I'm off. I'm done.
I missed it. But to your point,
no. So let me explain. So again,
for the
I'll
audience,
give a little short backstory. So there was a guy who was a habitual transfer player. He's still, matter of fact, it's been 5 years and he's still in the transfer portal this year, Jules. By a guy named Leonidas. He's probably like 33 years old, still in the transfer portal every year.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
And so years ago we asked him what was his traits, and he was like, "Yeah, I have violent hands." And what was the other one? It was violent hands and
take my lunch kit to work every day.
Yeah, I'm a work pill guy, and then he said I something not ruthless aggression. No, it's not ruthless aggression. What was it?
Ruthless aggression.
No. No, it wasn't ruthless aggression. It was something. I forgot it. But shout out to Mike G on that one because that was his favorite phrase. But yeah, he said he had, violent hands, and I just like, and I went on a tangent. It pissed me off on the space because I was like, every player in the NFL has violent hands. Name me a player that plays on the defensive line that doesn't have violent hands. No, like that is not a trait. Like everybody has.
It's not tangible.
Yeah,
it's something you can grade.
Like everybody has violent hands. Like that's stupid to me when they say stuff like that. And just for comparison, I think we talked about it. Lee Hunter, as a 6'4", 333-pound defensive tackle, had 42 tackles.
Yeah.
Like compared to the 28 or whatever it was, he had at least 12 to 14 more tackles than Peter Woods, and he's a bigger guy.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I'm not defending Peter Woods, but Hunter did have 2 edges that were dominating too.
Yeah.
That you can't double trick block him, because if you double him, Bailey's gonna get you on the edge. So I give him a little credit now. That's why he probably have that's a higher number than most D tackles actually have. Because he has help on the side. I don't know. You can't say Peter Woods had explosive or a top 5 draft pick come out this year.
I'm gonna say this too, though. Like, we got to get out of the business of saying, and I'm talking about you, Brandon. We drafting players that we just signed to brand new contracts to replace them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not drafting. So you telling me I'm gonna draft a Peter Woods, and I'm not expecting him to make a real impact for 2 years?
No way.
So
if you, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, like, again, Sheldon Rankins is a great player. He's 6'2", he's over 300, and even last year, like, he had pretty good stats. You know what I'm saying? Last year he had 35 tackles. You know what I'm saying? 35 tackles, 3 sacks, and 20 tackles. I think was it how many tackles for loss? Is it 20 tackles for loss or something like that? It was a high number of tackles for loss. I may be wrong on the tackles for loss. Y'all can correct me later.
12, 13.
Yeah, so he had a lot of great plays, but if again, I'm gonna say this: people like Sheldon Rankins, but nobody has ever been in love with Sheldon Rankins as a Texan fan. People like.
As NFL scouts and talent.
You're right. So again, if you want to say Peter Woods he's a mirror of Sheldon Rankins, then what are we really doing? We're not really improving. You just want to stay the status quo. So you're trying to sell me on Peter Woods, and Peter Woods is just an average guy. But going back, I think this conversation started about what are the holes, and people are going to say defensive tackle. Well, okay, the Texans just signed 3 or 4 defensive tackles this offseason, and you still got Tommy T. So is it a hole, or are you just saying that and then saying getting a guy like Zion Young? Okay, Zion Young, what are we doing with Zion Young?
Waiting 3 years.
Waiting 3 years for him to do something, or you just gonna be okay with Zion Young being Derek Barnett replacement?
Yeah, situational and rotational.
Right, a situational guy who plays, a third of the total snaps at defensive end that you'll rarely see because we're not taking Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter off the field majority of the game, so Zion Young can play. And then you had, the Christian Miller. Like, what are we doing with Christian Miller?
So here's my scenario. And the whole situation. Mine is, where can we, as AD always say, increase the room for the top level? And to me, D-tackle is one of the only rooms you really can. And receiver, depending on how you feel about Tank and Noel and the rest of the guys, D-tackle is the only one that think that you can actually put a younger guy who's fresher, bigger, stronger, and has a better twitch going towards. And that's D-tackle. There is no real big holes on this team, but there is some positions you can actually improve on. That's how it is. That's why, like we say, going into mock drafts, you have to be really bored to do mock drafts for the Texans because you don't know what's going on. Because you don't know who to play. Because as you say, young or in, you're not gonna play them. And then here's my own point: meaningful snaps. You want to draft a guard, a tackle, and a defensive end who will not have meaningful starts in the NFL for 2 years. That is asinine for a first-round pick.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna go like this, man. The Texans solidified, and it goes back to the guard and all this stuff. As much as I want Basantis and I want Max the tackle and all that type of stuff, like it doesn't make sense for the Texans to draft offensive line super early right now. Now, unless you have only one that will make a little bit of sense is Max the tackle. And the reason why is Max the tackle is young, and you will say, well, we're going to sit Max the tackle for a year or two and see if he develops and then play him later.
Can I take back up real quick?
Go ahead.
Not only is he young, but he's raw.
Mm-hmm.
On his skills and technique, and he just got by on just being bigger, stronger than most guys in college. There's a technique and a thing that you learn, and he's young and raw. So that is a position that you can do. Like the center for Auburn, he's 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You want to give
Connor
him
Lou.
the late second, the third round, you do it because you know you can coach him up for a year or two, and you got to start a playing grade, and then he's only 23 years old.
You probably get Lou in the third round, honestly.
But there's a guy that I know that played once who's down to 35 now, and they want him to play 2 years.
Again, I'm trying to develop. I'm on my character arc. I noticed I ain't said nothing. I didn't even troll. I had every opportunity. I ain't say nothing. But since you're talking, man, Pregnon for president. Here we go. Yeah, bro. Watch. I'm telling you. Watch. Book it right now. I bet you Pregnon is going to be a Texan. I'm willing. I'm more confident in that happening than anything else. It may not be round. It may not be round one, but I bet you he's going to be a Texan. I bet.
No. For
Mhm.
what though? For what? Why is it? Why are you so gung ho on Pregnon being a Texan? What does Pregnon bring to the table for him sitting on the bench?
Hey, listen, bro. You talking to the wrong dude. I don't get paid to pick the man. I just follow the stories, man. And listen, I was off it. Jules brought me back in here, but since you asked him, I just think with Pregnon, like it just seems like with Pregnon,
Yeah, that's what's gonna have to happen at NRG for Pregnon to see the field. The ambulance to keep coming pulling up.
My hesitation is I just would not have him at 28, but them getting him top of the second type stuff or mid second, I could definitely see that. I could see with him being, we talk about it, right? A little bit more seasoned at his age. I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know if by drafting him that locks him onto the bench. I just have no idea. If they were to get him, I'm assuming they'd allow him a chance to kind of push maybe to start. I have no idea. But he, and you know what? I'll say this. Him and Basantis would be my biggest two guard picks at the moment right now. Tackle would be Max, but even then, Max is the only one, DQ, Max is the only one that I can say 28, like if they went tackle, it'd be Max. Guard pick, I don't see it at 28, but if they were to pick a guard, it'd be either Pregnon or DeSantis at 36.
Not DeSantis. That's the governor in Florida. We talking about DeSantis.
DeSantis.
Talking about
My
Chase.
fault. Boy, I'm messing his name up. Chase. There you go.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this just to piggyback on what Brandon's comment was. Someone's got to take Settle and Fadakowski and other players snaps, though we can't act like they won't see the field. So I'm gonna say this, Brandon. Fadakowski played how many games this year? His snaps were taken. Tim Settle got hurt towards the middle of the year, a little bit past the middle of the year. His snaps got taken. I mean, we brought back a Naquan Jones. We still had a Tommy T resurgence because of Foley Fadakowski being out. Foley Fadakowski got replaced by Tommy T, who's still on the roster. Naquan Jones replaced Tim Settle, who they brought back. So again, those players were already brought back. And I'm saying you brought up names of guys who really didn't play a lot last year, and we still were effective. So saying you still gonna have guys to play, yes, but I'm not drafting a defensive tackle in the first round to play out of 50 or 60 defensive snaps to play 10. That's a waste of a first round pick.
I think if you get the one that you really want, will play more than you think he will play. Because I'm not overly sold on Toya or Naquan Jones. Jones to me is that player. Tommy was a great story. He's still not overall talented.
But you're talking about better in the run game. Now again, if you want to say you want to draft Peter Woods to be a passing down defensive tackle where he plays specifically on third downs, okay. How many third downs are you really gonna have? I'm again we circling back around with the defensive tackle, but like I don't feel like it's that important. I just feel like I said it on the space a couple of days ago. I feel like people are so gung ho on a certain position group that they're willing to just say, "Give me that guy because I just want this position." And
that makes sense.
like, but
there's no position to go by. So you go by the weakest link of talent, and that's the D tackle.
But again, you're saying defensive tackle is the weakest link, but the last few years, talent-wise, you're saying that, but maybe D'Amico's defense doesn't require you to have or doesn't need you to have a Jalen Carter. And I'm gonna say this again: if it's a Jalen Carter in this draft, if it's a doggone Dexter Lawrence in this draft, if it's a Jeffrey Simmons in this draft, then albeit go D tackle. But just saying, taking Peter Woods, Lee Hunter, and these guys, I don't think these guys are even on Byron Murphy's level.
You didn't like Byron Murphy?
I thought he and Byron Murphy, and again, Jules, that tells you how much I like them. If I didn't like Byron Murphy, and I said they not even on Byron Murphy's level, what does that tell you? My feelings about them.
But you also biased because you don't want a D tackle.
No, it's not that. I want the right D tackle. I just don't want any D tackle. I want the right D tackle.
But you gonna draft, and then once again, here's where we at. This conversation is: who do you draft? You can draft
Keith
anything
Sweat.
you want to. You can draft anything
Nobody.
that you want to.
No. No. Stupid.
Y'all are overthinking it. I just think you trade back and don't worry about D tackle right now.
But you still don't. If you trade back, you still don't get the highest ranked D tackle. And I've been saying trade back for 3 weeks now.
We've already figured out that the trade back is inevitable. They're going to trade back. The best scenario is the Texans or the Packers, not the Packers, the Steelers pass on doggone what's the quarterback from out Ty Simpson. If the Steelers pass on Ty Simpson, the Texans are not picking at 28. Whoever wants Ty Simpson is picking at 28. And the Texans will more than likely have multiple second round picks and third round picks to do whatever they need to do. And again, there was an article came out today that the Texans may look and take Keelan Rutledge at the top of the second round.
That wouldn't be a reach.
Rutledge.
Well, that wouldn't be a reach.
I mean, it's a reach. It's a reach, but it's the Texans. Again, Keelan Rutledge is 21, 22 years old, and he fits what they want to do.
So here's one for you,
fits
Jules.
exactly what they want to do.
So Jules, here's your guy right here. So this one on Yahoo Sports, I think Jules, maybe you showed me this one either. I don't know, but Anthony Hill, the Texas linebacker.
Man, hell no.
Look,
linebacker.
Hey, listen, man.
Hold on. This is what's crazy. As much crap as I get about Henry Noah. Oh, AD, you always talking down on Henry Toa. You don't even call him by his name. Woody. All these same people that give me crap every day about Henry Noah are the first ones to say, I'll take Jacob Rodriguez. I'll take Anthony Hill. I'll take a linebacker. Oh, man, this and that. We don't know. We don't know if they're going to keep us. You don't think that they're going to pay Aziz? Aziz is 27 years old. Henry Toa is 23, 24 years old. They're not going to pay them and keep them. They're going to just They're just going to draft Anthony Hill because guess what? The last time D'Amico had an uber athletic sideline to sideline, what up, chill out? Sideline to sideline linebacker that had speed for days and all of that. Where is he now? He's with, if I'm not mistaken, he's with the Atlanta Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
That's injuries. That's not because that's injuries.
Jules, you're talking about the injury part. I'm talking about before he got injured. He got benched. Do you not remember he got benched?
Do you not understand the words coming out of my mouth?
You're putting past history on a play that can't see. And before you even drafted, because what you're saying, that's what he wants. No, to answer your question, Clayton, I never said Toto to me replaced. They know that.
But I'm not speaking about you. I'm talking about the sentiment. The sentiment has been, for all intents and purposes, I've always said that Toa was just an average player and he can be replaced.
Right.
People have
got Jalen Petrie being your third linebacker because you have nobody else.
Yeah, people and again, Jalen Petrie your third linebacker because that's the only way Jalen Petrie can get on the field. I digress. I will say this, that people have been stomping the ground about Let Tua live. And then I asked the question: if you draft for linebacker, if you draft for Jacob Rodriguez, where is he going to play? Oh, he's going to play next to Aziz. Well, what happens to Tua? Mind you, talking about linebacker, and shout out Juan. Juan just brought up a great point. They just signed EJ Speed.
So a 1-year deal.
It was a 2-year. It was a 2-year deal. What are you talking about?
Yeah, two-year deal. Yeah,
it was a 2-year deal.
Yeah, 2-year deal.
And then Juan brought up another point. There's a player from the east side of Houston, Texas.
East side.
And he's traveled around the ways. He's played at A&M. He's played at TCU. He's played at UTSA. And there's a guy you can get in the later rounds who can do just about everything that you want Anthony Hill to do, that you want a Jacob Rodriguez to do, and that's shout out Shad Banks. You get him in the later rounds.
Well, here's where
he plays special teams. He does all the little things that you want him to do, and he's just as athletic as an Anthony Hill. Probably runs a faster 40 than an Anthony Hill and Jacob Rodriguez, and he just went to a smaller school and didn't have the opportunities.
Well, here's where I'm gonna just go out on a limb. On my fault, Jules. Go ahead.
That's not a talking point because you can say about every position and every prospect. That is not a talking point. You can find a left tackle who didn't play well, who's just as fast, who has something else, but they're not a top prospect. You can say every play and every prospect.
So I'm gonna ask this question: is there a defense that has elite at every position? That is elite at every position. So you're saying the Eagles are elite at every position?
Mm-mm.
What elite edges do the Eagles have?
Before last year, they had the guy that signed for 120s. They traded for it.
Who? You don't even know his name. You talking about Jalen Phillips? Jalen Phillips as an hold on, Juice. No, I'm no. And I'm making my point. Jules, I'm not trying to say not get talent. I'm asking a question. Name me a team that is elite at every position on defense. Exactly, and that's my point. My point is, look how. Okay, hold on, slow down. Doggone D'Amico Ryans has built the number one defense, right? Juan made a point. The Seahawks don't even have an elite rusher. That's true. They were one of the top 5 defenses in the league. Again, the Houston Texans have the number one defense in the NFL, and right now they have an elite secondary, and they have elite edges, meaning we can rush the passer and make, in all intents and purposes, we can make you one-dimensional. And all you can do is run the football or try to run the football. Mind you, Will Anderson is good in the run game, and you have corners that can tackle. So again, saying like you want to continue to improve the defense, but where's our biggest flaw?
Tell me.
On the other side, on the other side of the football.
And where you going? And what position you think? Tight end, receiver, running back?
I say wide receiver. I say running back. You don't have you don't have depth. You don't. First of all, you don't. Again, I'll even go to the length of saying tight end because you don't have depth. Like
thank you.
Have depth. You don't have depth.
But you clown Clayton for one the tight end.
Oh, I am gonna clown him because that's the bottom of the depth. Like that's the bottom.
Okay, I'm talking. You're talking points. You just going around in circles.
I'm going around in circles. Huh? I'm going look.
Because you're gonna draft somebody. If you draft at 28, you're gonna draft somebody at 28 if you have to pick. And it's not gonna be a pressing need. It's gonna be a player that you're gonna figure out how to play. That's just reality.
I'm just of the mindset that we're not drafting at 28. So
listen. I was minding.
Drafting at 28.
I was minding my business. I was trying to revisit what AD said. about what, and I like how you framed it. What is the the biggest weakness at any position going into the draft, which is that helps me out because that makes it more crystal clear. In that framing of it, the tackle is not your greatest weakness going in. Linebacker is not your greatest weakness going in. I'd even say wide receiver is not your greatest weakness. It is one of the top three. It's not your greatest weakness. I would argue tight end would sit right there. It'd be tight end, wide receiver, and D tackle, right? And for me, if we're talking about it, if we're talking about impact playmaker and making like that type of like, oh wow, kind of move, like what's there to be made, everything else we discussed before this is like we can get top of the second, bottom of the second, right? Like we're bouncing off ideas, Peter Woods, and like where we can get those guys middle of the round, so we don't need them at 28. For me, AD can clown me all he wants to. I will wear this. I don't care. Jules, you know what I'm about to say. Bring me Kenyon Sadiq. I'm on a record now on April the 11th, 2026. I think the biggest weakness offensively is not tackle, is not guard. I can get those next round or two. Give me a game breaker at tight end. I am willing to go in for Kenyon Sadiq. If he is at anywhere from 18 to 20 still, some late teens. Yeah, I like Oscar Delp too, but Oscar Delp is such a Texans fit. I think you can get him like second, third. I'm talking about if I had to pick at 28 and I had my greatest weakness to consider, which would be tight end low key, right? I am angling towards Kenyon Sadiq. I know his comps are what? I forget his name, but y'all got his comps.
Trash tight ends.
Hey, listen, Kenyon Sadiq immediately will be your most athletic tight end pick you've had in franchise history.
So let me ask you this. The Texans have preached all off season that they want to run the football.
Sure.
What does Kenyon Sadiq do that's going to immediately amplify the run game?
I will counter with this. It's a game of 11 versus 11, right? According to what I've understood.
How you answer the question without answering the question?
Oh, I'm answering your question, right? I got you. The Texans' identity preferred is physical outfit, run the ball. I get it. Dave Montgomery and whoever they draft, right? Sadiq is not this F- blocker like the myth is out there. He can block enough, number one. Number two, it's a game of 11 versus 11 v 11. If 11 versus 11, right? Like, I believe the Texans can. I don't think the run game is going to break down because of one dude being like a B- C+ blocker if it came to that. Like, I really don't. I'm going off of screens. I'm going off of all these creative ways you could use a Sadiq to offset, do whatever you want to do. I just think he's versatile enough to where.
We barely ran running back screens. You talking about a tight end screens?
Bro, yeah, we ran them.
But you know what I believe?
Socials couldn't take one to the house. We ran some last year. And Schultz fumbled the ball.
Go eat that. So I'm gonna say this, man. Because you was talking about what you believe, and I'm gonna tell you what I believe. I believe the children are our future.
Listen,
and I'm on the way. But no, man. Look. I'm telling you, y'all can have hopes and dreams all you want to. Again, I go back to saying I don't want just a guy, because if Kenyon Sadiq was that guy, we're not even talking about him because he's not going to be there at 28. If Kenyon Sadiq, and I'm gonna say this again, I need y'all to all use your logical thinking. If Kenyon Sadiq is that great of an impact of a player, why are we talking about him at the bottom of the first round when you had guys like Colston Loveland, Tyler Warren, who are great impact guys at the tight end position, were drafted in the top 10, top 12? Why are we talking about Sadiq as that great of an impact of a player at the bottom of the first round, put damn near second round? Why? Again, I don't think he's that guy, because again, if he was that guy, it wouldn't even be a conversation of us even drafting him, because all the mock drafts would have him in the top 10, top 15. We would have to trade up super high to get him. And again, I use this logic with. That's why me personally, I'm a trenches guy. So if you saying D tackle, fine. Offensive line, fine at 28. When it comes, even wide receiver, I would say fine. But I'm not. If you talking about using extra assets for Sadiq, you a damn fool. I'm sorry. You are a damn fool. Sadiq is built like a running back. And I'm telling you right now, he is a decent guy, but he is not a guy that's going to say that you gotta say. Even I'll go back and like one said, even running back, I would say would be a better option than a tight end.
Projecting. Keyword, we still projecting. These players still have to, they still can change your projection.
Hey,
It can be better than what you predict. It's all projection now.
again, I'm fine with being. I'm fine with projections, but name me bottom of the first round tight ends the last few years that have just toe up the scene. Do you name them?
I'm gonna go. Oh, I'm gonna go back and research. Y'all can
Do you
y'all
research
can have
because the tight ends that have been great and have either they've been second, third round picks that came out of nowhere, or they've been top of the first round. There hasn't been tight ends at the bottom of the first round, and I'm talking recent draft. I'm not talking in history, but in recent drafts.
So I'm gonna say this. I'm about to go move around today.
Yeah, I'm about to go too. We ain't got that much longer.
What your talking point is why at 28 there is not that player at 28 on the top of the second. That's because we won. That's know how the draft falls at. So for you to say you want that guy, we're not able to pick that guy because we won and we're 28. That's not going to happen. The guys that you want that are impactful, they are selected the first, the second, the fifth, and 10th round picks. We're not there. So we have to get guys who may not be as explosive as the number one D tackle or number one receiver because we're picking at 28, the bottom of the first round. So that's just logical.
Yeah, look.
So any player that you want ain't gonna be that because we're picking at 28.
So I'm looking at it right now. These are the tight ends that were drafted the last few years. So last year at 10 and 14 were Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren. In 24, you had Brock Bowers. He was the only tight end drafted. Then you had Dalton Kincaid, who was a so-so player for the Bills, and he was drafted at 25. He's a so-so player, right? The year before, you had Trey McBride. He wasn't even the first tight end, wasn't even drafted. Trey McBride is a hell of a player. He was the first tight end drafted, and that was at the bottom of the second round. And then you go in 21, Kyle Pitts at the top of the first round. Then the next tight end that was drafted isn't drafted. Pat Fairmouth, who's a good tight end, to damn near the bottom of the second round. Then I go back again, Cole Kmet, who was a decent tight end for the Bears. He was the first tight end drafted in the second round. Then you got TJ Hawkinson and Noah Fant. Both guys are like, yeah, and they were drafted in the first round in 2019. And then Hayden Hurst, who was a bust of a pick for the Ravens in 2018 and picked at 20. So again, like it's either you find them in the second round later, or they're at the very top of the first round when it comes to tight ends and impact players. So like when you're saying drafting Sadiq and everybody's hype on Sadiq and wants Sadiq and this and that, like again, Frank brought up, he said Sadiq's considered the best tight end in this draft. This draft does not have a lot of talent. This is a trenches draft, if you want me to be frankly honest with you. This is
trenches and scheme fit. It's a bunch of trenches and scheme fit type players. That's kind of what we're talking about, which is what makes it hard because in that sense, there's a bunch of Texans type picks that we're talking about. But if the primary question is at 28, besides like a trade back, right? Like considering what your weakest remaining position is versus who's still available. This is why I floated Sadiq. This is why I float names like that, because I'm giving you the talent level that matches the urgency for the position. Everything else we discussed, like honestly, ideally, I think we talked about it, trading back and having multiple mid-round picks, that's kind of what you want to do. If not, yeah, I'm gunning for the 1As and 1Bs of these positions. Outside of that, like, yeah, you want to load up in the middle of the round. That's why, like I said, Sadiq's running back, I think that's a harder sell depending on who is even down there.
If Price is there,
else?
Price is there at 28. You don't think if they take him, you think that's a bad pick?
No, I don't think it's a bad pick. I think it's a reach. Like I think if he gets to 28, then what's stopping him from making it to 36, right? Like I might as well. You can pull a mini CJ and Will. I can take my other guy at 28, then I can trade back. I could trade my 36, move up a spot or two, and grab Price to be still there. Like it's not a bad pick. I just don't know if you take Price at 28.
So I will say this, just looking at again going down after 28, the Chiefs pick 29. So if the Chiefs don't take a running back in the top 10, if they're not able to get love,
they shouldn't because they got Walker.
Okay, why Walker? Okay.
I mean, why would you drop that much money on Walker and then immediately pivot and grab Price?
And they've always run multiple running backs.
Well, yeah, but they ain't to the tune of.
And then I'm gonna say this. So again, you're talking about Walker. Great point. Walker is with the Chiefs. If they don't get love at 9, they don't take them and they don't take Price at 29. Guess who's sitting there? Two teams that was in the Super Bowl that need running backs.
That's a good point. That's a good. That's
so saying you're gonna get Price, you don't take them at 28. True. You got 31. The New England Patriots and Seattle Seahawks. More than likely going the Seahawks. The Seahawks more than likely gonna take. Yeah, I don't know who they are, but hey, but more than likely those two teams will take Price off your hands.
That is true. Well, see, that's another layer, like concern of whether or not they'll still be there. That's a good point. That's why I'm saying it's hard, bro, because they've done such a good job of filling in all these holes where you literally cannot see like a clear path for really any one move or two. I have no clue. That's why I agree with Jules. I just wish the draft was here so you get over with and end the speculation. Like all of their remaining needs is kind of the same thing. It's not like sell the farm on anybody, but if the best guy was there, you take him, and that could be 3 or 4 guys.
That's correct. That's why everybody keeps saying that we all agree trading back and getting an extra second round and maybe extra third is probably the best thing. That means we all can get everything that all the Texan fans are complaining about. If they can get 6 picks at the second, third round, they can hit linebacker, receiver, tackle. You
can get everything you need in those 2 rounds. Honestly, those 3 rounds.
Look, if you trade 28, let's say something stupid like somebody offers you a second, third, and 7th in this year's draft. Yeah, I'd do that. If someone offered me second, third, 7th in this year's draft, sure. Like you got it. That's 3 2s, 3 2s, 2 3s, or 3 3s, I think. Then 3 2s, 2 3s, 2 or 3 3s, and then more picks. I think you clean up.
Right now, the Texans have 2 seconds and a third. So if you trade back and you're able to get an additional second and additional third, now you're saying you have 3 seconds and 2 thirds. Yep. Like that's 5 players in the top 100 that you can basically kind of reload your whole roster with.
You can own the second round at that point. Like I can do what I want to at that point.
And if you wanted to play strongly, you could trade up.
This is why I'm not going, and I would never go to another first round Houston, Texas draft party ever again just for the next 3 or 4 years.
Hey man, we're not going.
I don't trust them to draft in the first round.
We're not gonna do that because right now the Texans. Let's have hope because right now, shout out to the group chat. There is gonna be a draft party.
I said official.
Oh no, not official. Not official.
Yeah, I'm not going to the stadium for the first round draft party because I don't trust them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think situation.
I don't trust him.
No, you can't trust them. So I'm looking at it. Just do a quick mock draft. So you got the Ravens want to trade 45 and 58 for pick 28. Carolina wants to trade you 51, 83, and a second and third in the year after draft. And you
We
give
trying
up
to win right now.
106. Then you got Jacksonville giving up 56, 100, and a second in 2027. So again, but I think the first trade is a good one. 45 and 58 for 28 is a damn good trade.
Because 45, 58, that's the second rounder, and 50
Second and
is
a
what?
third. Second and a
Second and
third.
third.
Yeah.
Second and
Oh
third.
no,
yeah.
is it two? Is it 2 seconds? It may be two. No, it's second and no, it's 2 seconds. That's 2 seconds.
So we have 4 seconds.
Yeah, that's 2 seconds.
Mm.
Yeah, because the Texans pick at 59. So that'll be you'll have 4 second round. You'll have 4 second round picks in the third.
Ooh. Oh my goodness. And read that trade one more time.
I want the Jets 33 and 44 pick.
Yeah, so right now, if we trade, the offer is for the Ravens to trade up from 45 to 28, and we would
Right.
end up getting 45 and 58.
And
So
that's actually reasonable for the Ravens.
right, and so and then the Texans draft picks will be 38, 45, 58, and 59.
Oh, we cleaning up.
And
Second round.
69. And 69.
Oh yeah, we're cleaning up. Yeah,
So
like you said,
you would
can
basically
grab.
you would own the whole second round.
Oh my goodness.
I wouldn't even want to trade up. I would just sit there and take who's over there because you would have 4 picks in the second round.
You control the board at that point.
People would be offering you, draft picks and players and all this stuff for those type of picks.
Yeah, I think that's the only way I trade back. If something like that, if I can get 4 2s or 3 2s and 2 3s, yeah, we do that. But anything outside of that, I just think you got to just make a selection.
So,
that's Sadiq for you.
Yeah, Sadiq.
No, it ain't got to be Sadiq. Listen, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but because we're talking about what BPA makes the most sense given the weaknesses, and I'm just low on who that would be. I'm not going guard. I'm not going pregnant. I'm not going on those guys except for Max, maybe Sadiq. Stop it.
Randy said trade 28 for Diana.
Not touching it. Nope.
You don't have to touch it. Mike Vrabel has touched it all.
Okay. Right. See. Yeah,
be someone. You're right. Don't beat someone. Yeah, like Diana Rossini.
In the words of Dave Chappelle, they should never gave y'all money. As that is.
So
never gave y'all nothing.
Again, y'all, we just talking, man. We yapping right now because ain't nothing going on. But again, appreciate y'all.
Not a single major trade or nothing. It's just
for what?
Desert out here.
Draft day is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be you get a trade, you get a trade, you get a trade.
Desert out here, man.
Yeah. Unlike Diana Rossini. But again, you giving me alley. I'm gonna move it.
Who gave you the alley? That was nobody.
Hey, appreciate y'all all for joining in on this middle of the day Saturday podcast, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe to the podcast. Go ahead and get those numbers up. We're still on the journey to 1,000 subscribers. Y'all push us over the limit this off season when the draft comes. We're gonna try our best to try to live stream the draft. I don't know how that's gonna work. We're gonna find some kind of way. We may have to do it on Discord. But y'all go ahead and tap in with us. But definitely it's gonna be a time, and the Texans are gonna make some moves and some news. So yeah, for sure. But again, appreciate everybody in the comments. Appreciate everybody. tuning in on this good Saturday. So we will see y'all when we see y'all. Shout out Jules, shout out Clayton. This has been another episode. This is your boy Eddie. This has been another episode of the H-Town Rundown. And we will see y'all, man. Peace.
He's out.
Yo.